Hello guys, good morning. Right, still a little bit croaky today apparently. How are you all doing? Monday again. We have reached another week. So just another manic Monday today, isn't it? Okay, super busy Facebook Live yesterday. So many of you tuned in. Thank you so much. Good morning, Alicia. Hi, Dean. Morning, Kitty. So many of you yesterday joined me to make a little tennis bracelet. So we had, well, a faux tennis bracelet. No diamonds here, I'm afraid. We made it with beautiful 4mm bicones and some size 11 seed beads. If you missed it, if you've missed any of the videos, Kitty and I have been doing these at 10 o'clock every morning. I think now for about 5 weeks. So 5 weeks worth of videos every single day. If you go onto the Facebook page, Totally Beads, which you're on now if you're seeing this, you will find all of them. So they're all archived on the page so you can go back at any point. Good grief, there's a lot of you commenting this morning. Hi, I'm going to try and keep up with you all. Good morning, Jax. Hi, Croaky Sarah. That's what I am today. Same here. Oh, bless you. I hope you're feeling okay. Joe says, morning, Sarah. Nice sunny day. Hi, Dee. Hope you're okay. I'm good, thank you. How are you? Good morning, Paula. Hi, Chef. Morning, Camille. Husband giggling, saying your name again. Morning, Sarah. Lots of Sarahs. Debbie's multitasking and watching Star Wars at the same time. I love it. I'm honoured that you have me on in the background while you're watching your films. Good morning, Doris from North Wales. Hi, Judith. In a dull and wet central Scotland. Oh, bless you. It is not much better here in Lincolnshire, I'm afraid. It's quite dull. I've actually even put the heating on this morning. Bit chilly. Hi, morning, Lynn. Hi, Helen. I'm working and listening to you. Great multitasking this morning, ladies. Good morning, Julie. Hi, Christine. Hope you had a good weekend. I did, thank you. It was really busy. I was doing lots of videos. I had shows last week on Create and Craft TV, still painting and still doing DIY. So yeah, I've kept myself very busy. Good morning, Mum. Mum's watching as well. We've already had our little FaceTime chat this morning. Good morning, Jill. Hi, Anne, Paula. Okay, lovely. Antida, good morning, Jane. Okay, lots of you. This is what we are going to make today. So this is my pin collar. Now I made this black and white one. I have worn this probably for a good couple of years. I absolutely love it. It pretty much goes with any neckline that you wear as well with your clothes. So because it's got chain on it, you can either, so if I've got a high neck top on like this, you can actually wear it so that it almost looks like the fringing or the embellishment of a necklace. If you want to wear it with a V-neck, or a longer round neck, then you can adjust it on the chain and then you can have it hanging a little bit lower. Many of you, if you follow my pages and watch the shows, will know that I wear this one a lot. And you get this beautiful sparkle and movement from it. So what we're going to do today is perfect our loop turning skills. Now, we're using head and eye pins. For those of you who are new, and I know there are a lot of you, because I get a lot of messages about the terminology, the findings, and all this kind of stuff. So, for those of you who've been beading for a long time, it's just going to be a nice little pattern that you can follow along with. For those of you who are new, this is what we're going to be doing. So, these are head pins. There are 2 different pins that we use, and I'll turn you all down in a moment so that you're on the bead mat. Jax is saying, good morning, Mummy Millsop. How's the bunting coming along? So my mum and everyone on her street are setting up for VE Day, which is this Friday. And they're all going to make bunting to line the street with. So I will share pictures with you. Mum is not crafty at all. So she is really going above and beyond for this, killing a bit of time and getting her create on. Okay, so head pins have a nail tip finish. And that's how we're getting these lovely clusters. So you can see we're putting pins all the way along a necklace. And they've got that flush bottom, which gives you that lovely charm. And you can see here that I've got lots of different beads. We're then going to thread those onto tiger tail wire. So that's a nice threading wire that we're going to use to give us the main body of the necklace. And then we're going to add some chain on as well. So you can use these as great extension chains. And like I said, you can change the layer of your necklace as well. Now we do have kits available for these on the website. They're $17.99. I would say that you would probably be able to make one big one like this, so a really full statement necklace, or and some smaller ones as well. Or you can actually go for smaller clusters. So this is the rose gold, which I absolutely love. I'm going to show you in a bit more detail in a moment. But again, it just gives you that great dimension. And as you wear it, you can see it really sparkles. So you'd probably be able to get 3 of these, I would say, as the smaller. Or if big statement necklaces aren't your thing, you can go for very dainty and petite as well. So that's the purple one that I'm going to use today. We've also got the black and the rose gold. But if you don't need the kits and you've got all the materials at home, your free download PDF, and you will see the description in the description to this video is the link for the free project section. You'll also find the kits in there as well, but you can just have the information for free. So this will give you all of the details and the pattern that I'm going to show you now. So I'm going to turn you down. Now there are a lot of you on. I am going to try my best to keep up with the comments. I know Kitty is also watching, because when it gets to kind of over 100 people, I'm concentrating on my design. Lots of you are answering and asking questions. What's great is that if you know the answer to something that someone else is asking, help them out and just let them know. You can reply to all the comments, and if there's anything else you would like to see, I will keep an eye on them. Now, when it comes to turning loops, is there anything that any of you are struggling with? Okay, now is your time to ask me, because I'm going to show you them all. I pretty much know, having taught for a long time, I pretty much probably know all the issues you're having, so I'm going to try and cover those. And for anyone who hasn't started it yet, it's really, really simple, I promise. Okay, so I'm going to turn it down and pop you on the bead mat so that you can have a look. Okay, so let's flip this camera over and let's come in here. Now, hopefully the lighting and everything is okay for you. Look at this sparkle. Okay, so the beads we're going to be using today, and I've just realised I don't have any of my pliers to hand. Bear with me one sec. So we're going to be using some bicones. We're also using some seed beads, chain and head pins. And the tools that you will need, I'm just going to have to grab whatever I have to hand. You're going to need some cutters. You'll also possibly need your flat nose pliers and some round as well. Now I'm being very naughty because my plier set is actually in the car because I've been using them a lot on the TV shows, and I'm getting ready for next week. Okay, so the pliers we're going to be using, round nose pliers. Now these are my ones from my set. We do also have my plier set on the Totally Beads website. I know a lot of you have had them already. Thank you very much. So round nose pliers. You're also going to need some flat nose pliers. These ones aren't mine, but it does the same job, flat nosed. And then also your cutters. And these ones are mine, well loved, very dirty, sorry about that. And that's pretty much about it. Okay, so I have some of my seed beads. Now the materials that you're going to use, you could vary. You could use any clusters of beads. You could use whatever you would like. It's going to be entirely up to you. But what I'm going to show you are the main steps, okay? So I've got a nice large seed bead. These are they a 6 or an 8? I'd say they're probably an 8. No, they're a 6. Size 6 seed beads, some lovely chain. I also have some of my culottes and crimp beads. This is going to be used to finish off our tiger tail wire. You get 2 different sizes of your head pins in the kits, like I've shown you, and then you also get some bonus earrings as well. So you could obviously make a matching set, and then we're going to use our tiger tail wire. So tiger tail wire, it's although it's a wire, it's not rigid. So it's just like a thread, but it's several strands of wire woven, wobbling you. Several strands of wire woven together, and they've got a nylon coating. So you can see you get the fluidity, but super, super strong, which is great. So that's going to be our main threading component in the centre. And then I'm just going to make up little clusters. I've got some beautiful round facets. So we've got sort of a lovely AB finish in the pastel pink. I've got a gorgeous deep lilac one there as well. And then a slightly more transparent one. And then we've got our bicones as well, again with an AB finish. So try and use contrasting finishes as well. So that's going to give you lots of difference. And then we're going to use our seed beads. So I'm going to try and make as much of this with you today as we can, okay? And look, even the seed beads have an AB finish on them, so they are gorgeous. Okay, turning loops. So this is the rose gold one. And as you can see, you need your loops to be pretty uniformed and nice up at the top here. Do excuse my thumb. For anyone who's been watching, you know I had an incident playing with the dog. It is beginning to heal. Okay, so we're going to make these lovely head pins. And as you can see, you get that really beautiful dimension. There's so many in here and it gives you that extra sparkle. We're going to thread them on. So we need to create a loop up at the top here to be able to thread it onto our necklace. So first of all, we're just going to decant off some of our beads. And I'm just going to make little piles of clusters. So if you have any bead soups, now bead soups are your little leftover beads from lots of different projects. If you've just got random leftovers, this is such a nice project to make with them. Look, I'm not even going to separate them up. One of the hardest things when it comes to designing, and especially if you have to be random, it's a hard thing to do. Because sometimes the more random you try to be, the more uniformed it is. But when you get a kit like this, it doesn't matter if you're not too confident in your ability to design, because they all work beautifully together. So it doesn't matter what order you thread them on, they're all going to look fantastic. So let's go for some that have seed beads in between them. So we'll go for a seed bead. So I've got my size 8 seed beads. I've got my rounds seed bead. Then let's go for a bicone. Seed beads. So all I'm doing is picking up one of each onto my pin. There's one other I haven't picked up, isn't it? Oh yeah, the darker one. There we go. And I'm also going to finish with a seed bead. So the only thing I'm going to stick to is that I will start with a seed bead. The only thing I'm going to stick to is that I will finish with a seed bead, because that is going to give me enough room up at the top for them to sit closely together. If you have two of the larger beads together, you're going to get them spreading apart from each other, okay? So to turn a loop, I'm then going to take this and bend it to 90 degrees. And as you can see, the pins are really pliable. They're very easy to work with. But if you don't have the strength in your finger, you can also do it with your tools. Okay, so let's just make one more, because once I've turned a loop, I want to be able to show you straight away again. I'm just going to try and go for a slightly different pattern this time. Again, I'm still going to make them quite big. We're going to make varied sizes as well, because ideally, what you want to do is start off with, where is the hole in this bead? You want to start off with shorter clusters. There it is. You want to start off with smaller clusters in your pins, and we're going to go work and graduate down to longer ones in the very middle. Okay, hard to do random, brain works, but not with that. I'm exactly the same. The more random I try to be, the more uniformed it is. It's ridiculous. Okay, so if you don't have the strength in your fingers to bend your pin, take your pliers, hold the pin, and bend it over. Okay, so your tools become an extension to your hand. If you don't have the strength, allow the tools to be able to do that for you. Now, when it comes to turning the perfect loop, it's just going to take practice. It's just one of those things that will come with time, okay? So don't worry about it to begin with, too much. Just keep on practicing. And as you can see in these kits, you get hundreds of pins. So just sit and have a little play. So what we're going to do is, for a standard loop, you actually need about 1 centimetre. Okay, so I'm going to cut and leave 1 centimetre. Now, obviously, I have been doing these for years, so I don't ever measure it. 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty good with my sizes. So let's have a look. I'm testing myself live here. Oh, look, under. It's way under. But I do know that my round nose pliers are very petite. So what we're going to do is cut and leave about 1 centimetre, approximately. As you've seen, it doesn't have to be spot on. Holding the pin at the bottom of your thumb. I'm so sorry about the mess of my nails. I'm going to sort those out before tomorrow's video. Pin facing up to the ceiling, and I'm going to keep my wire as flush to the plier as I can. So you can see I don't have any wire sticking out the top. I'm holding it as flush as I can. And then I'm going to take, with a flat hand, I'm just going to rotate over like so. Little movements, and all I'm doing is bending that wire around the pliers. And there you have a loop. Okay, so you'll see there is a little gap. So what you want to do is make sure, especially for this one, because we are going to thread these onto a very fine wire, you want to make sure that the connection is closed. Now, if you struggle with a few of these, I'm going to do a little bit of troubleshooting. I'm going to show you one more, and then I'm going to show you all the things that possibly go wrong, okay? So that if you are turning loops, and it happens, you'll just know exactly how to correct it. So again, leaving about 1 centimetre. Now, I obviously have a standard size that I use because look at that, I'm pretty much, it doesn't have to be spot on every time, but you can see my first one was cut off a little bit more than my second one. So this is probably more like 1 centimetre. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. So long as your loop is round, you're still going to get a lovely finish, okay? So, again, to the same point on my plier-ish, nice and flush the top, so no wire poking out. And this time I'm going to try and angle it so that you can see it coming round, okay? So, small movements, rolling around, letting go and turning back. This is very hard to do whilst trying to show you and keep it in the same marker, but let's try. Rolling it around, getting that perfect loop. If you could see the angle my hand is at the moment, just so you can see it's ridiculous. Okay, so look, there we go. And again, making sure, because we're threading them on, I want to make sure that's shut. Okay, and they should look pretty much exactly the same. So the measurements were slightly different, but you're still getting a perfect loop. So you don't have to be exact all the time. Lucy says, I think I was turning them the wrong way. You can turn them any way you like. I'll do this one and I'll turn it towards me so that you can see that it really doesn't make much difference. It is whatever works for you. It's personal preference. So it's just like, oh, I don't know. I can't think of something, but one way might work for someone and not for somebody else. So long as you end up with a loop, you're good. Okay, let's do one more where I'm adding all of the beads because it's a bit longer and easier for me to hold for you. And I'm going to pop on another pin. Okay, so bending to 90 degrees. That bit is really important, and I'll show you why, because we are rolling the pin back onto, rolling the loop back onto the pin. So you want to make sure that you always have that 90-degree angle because that is going to give you a good finishing. Okay, so this one I'll roll towards me and you'll see I'll get exactly the same result. So holding it, so now you'll see that I've changed the angle. So I'm not facing up to the ceiling. I'm going to roll this one towards me. So I'm going to hold the pin, same position, making sure that seed bead stays down. Again, little movements. It's a bit harder to do this way because my wrist doesn't naturally want to go that way because it's not the way I would do my loops. So look, you can see it's slightly off center, but then all we'll do is pop our pliers back into the loop like so, and just bend that body of the pin backwards a little bit. You'll see that little bit of pressure has now completely centralized my loop. So this one I turned moving away from me. This one I turned moving towards me. And this one I did at goodness knows what angle so that you could see the wire going around the pliers, okay? Now, I'm going to lift you up a little bit so that you can actually see the movement in my wrist. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to lift you up a bit higher. Do excuse all the mess all over my bead mat. But I'll bring you back down in a sec. I just want you to see the actual angle so you can see how my hands are going. Does anybody... Jack says I'm a sidewinder. Amazing. Does anybody have any problems turning the loop so far? Let me know how you're doing it, or if so far I've covered your little angle that you're doing, or you can see maybe where you're going wrong. Okay, we'll do this one a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do is start sectioning these. These are my long pins. So they will be in the middle of my necklace. They have an array of all of the beads I'm working on. Now I'm going to start to go a little bit smaller. Okay, so bending to 90 degrees. Cutting and leaving 1 centimetre. Always keep hold of these little shards that are going to come off. I'll tell you a funny story in a minute of my sister turning these pins and pinging my dad's new TV. So make sure you hold them because they will fly off. So I've got a flat wrist, okay? And I like to hold the pin so that the pin is flat. The pin I'm going to turn is pointing up to the ceiling, flat wrist. And what I'm going to do is just like a handlebar movement, okay? So I'm going to hold on to it, twist, let go, turn back. Sometimes when I'm teaching, I see people and they hold it on and they twist and twist and twist and twist and twist, and you're going to be at all sorts of funny angles. And when you're doing something like this and you might want to turn hundreds of pins, you're going to start to really feel the negative effects of doing this. Tiny movements are going to give you more control. Okay, so watch my hand. And I don't even have to look at this pin because I know it will end up perfect. So little movement, tiny little handlebar movements, keeping it on the same place in your plier. There's your loop. Okay, and then again, if you want to centralize it, back in, just move that pin, that tiny little nudge, and we're going to have that there. Okay, so that one is going to be one of my smaller pins. Okay, Mina says, I've just got the hang of these. Oh, fantastic. It just takes time and practice. It's just one of those things. Okay, so a couple of tips if we are going wrong so far. Take one of your pins, or you could even take one of the little sections that you've cut off and just measure out 1 centimetre. So do your centimetre on a pin. There we go. And keep that as your little measuring rule, okay? You can really easily then add on some more beads. Just going to take some of my longer pins. Now, if you are going for the kits that we have on the website today, there are 2 different lengths of pins within the kits. Okay, so you can use, you can use these for the longer sections down in the middle of your necklace, and you can use these so that you're not wasting too much material for the shorter sections on the top sides. Okay, so take your little marker. Let's do a slightly shorter one this time. And again, I'm just taking a little array of the beads that we have. Gosh, the hole is really hard to spot in this light on these nice pink ones, but they're beautiful, so we'll keep using them. Okay, bending to 90 degrees, really important. I probably should have used a smaller pin here, but hey ho. And then you can use this as a little marker. Hold with your flush pliers. Now, when you're also using your flush pliers, remember, and I say it all the time, good grief, these are filthy. Someone's been using these for naughty things. So you've got your flush side. That is going to give you a perfect finish, okay? If you're using the domed side, you're not going to get in at the right angle. So you might think you're leaving 1 centimetre, but actually, because you can't see where the blade is, you're going to end up with more. So look, you can use that as a little measuring tool, snip that off, okay? Pin up to the ceiling and holding it flush. Nice little handlebar movements is going to give you a perfect loop. Now, bending it to 90 degrees before we start also allows us to have no gap in between where our loop is going to be and our beads, because I don't want any movement in those, okay? So let's go through a few things that you might do that doesn't give you a perfect finish. And let me know if anyone is struggling and you need to know exactly where you're going wrong. Let me know how your pins end up, okay? So if, for example, you leave too much wire, okay, so let's go for a really big one. You leave too much wire, but then you're still creating a same-sized loop. So what you will end up with is a gap in between your beads and your loop, okay? So if your pins are looking like this, you are cutting not enough away, so you are leaving more than 1 centimetre. Or if you wanted to correct this, and this isn't how you're going to make a petite necklace though, you will need to go further down your plier so that all of the wire is being used, even more so. All of the wire is being used because this amount that we have left is what we're going to create our loop with. And I can still get a nice loop out of it, but it's huge, okay? So when I thread this onto my necklace, my size 8 seed beads are just going to go straight through them, so I'm not going to get a uniformed finish, okay? So if your loops are looking like this, they're too big. If you have those gaps, you're leaving too much and still creating a petite loop. So that's a no-no. Hopefully that will help you correct that. Okay, shepherd's crooks. A lot of shop bought jewellery. So sometimes I've even gone into places like Monsoon or Accessorize, and seen necklaces, and good grief, I am shocked by the loops that they make. Okay, they're mass produced, you know, and they're quickly finished. I totally understand it, but we can get a much better finish and we know where they're going wrong, okay? So again, bending to 90 degrees, leaving that centimetre. If you have shepherd's crooks, you are leaving too much wire poking out the top of your pliers. So remember, Kieran says, does anyone know what seed beads Sarah uses? These are size 8. They're in a pale pink with an AB finish. Okay, so flush to the top is going to give you a lovely finish. If you're leaving any wire poking out at the top, you're going to get a shepherd's crook, not a loop. So when you're bending it over, you can see that what you're getting is a flat piece of your wire. Because it's not flush, you're not rolling all of that wire. Some of it is going to stay flat, okay? So on your shopbought pieces, or I'm sure on some of maybe your first makes, you will look at them and they look a bit more like this, okay? It's still functional. It's still going to give you a nice functional piece, but it's not going to give you that perfect finish, okay? So these will be Toho, Kieran. They're in the kits on the Totally Beads website. Okay, so large loops, shepherd's crooks, anyone else struggling with any others? What's the other bits and pieces that can go wrong? Not centralised. We've probably figured that one out because I've shown you, but let's cover that anyway, as a just in case. Ask me any questions if your loops aren't perfect and you need me to show you how. That's where I've got my problem. Shepherd's hooks, says Lucy. There you go, darling. Nice and flush to the top of your pliers and you are going to be a looping queen. Lucy has just started making jewellery with us with Kitty's USBs. So hopefully that is now going to give you a nice finish. Okay, so if you don't bend your pin over to 90 degrees, let's say you just put a little angle on it or you don't even bend it at all, what we're going to end up with are P's, not I's. So you can see that it's not centralised. When I'm threading this on, this means, and let me pop this onto my wire so I can show you, you're not going to get a perfect finish, okay? And it's not going to hang nicely in your necklace. It's going to have one off at a jaunty angle. If I put this in between, I wonder if I can actually show you the angle that it will come out at. Let's have a look. Yes, you can see when you've got it threaded on, you're going to have it poking out at the front or at the back, which means it's not going to be comfortable to wear. Still a perfect loop. It's still got a lovely loop on it. It's just off center. So we're going to put our pliers into the middle of the loop and just, I'm keeping my hand still with the plier, and all I'm doing is bending that backwards, and that's going to centralise it for me. Now, because it was off at an angle, it's not completely closed. So I'm just going to open that up a little bit more, move it down because I've got a bit more wire, and close that. And now we should have the right sized loop on top of our pin. Okay. What do I do to put in search for this kit, says Anne. And in the description of this video, I've put a little link to the website. But if you go to the Totally Beads website, down on the left-hand side, there are 3 little stripes for the categories. Click on there, and that's going to bring up all of the bead categories. So you'll have crystals, pearls, etc., etc. Down there is a section called Free Projects. And if you click on that, you will get the free PDF download today, but these kits will also be in there for $17.99. You've got your rose gold, which is this little stunner. You've also got the monochrome, or so your silver. So the rose gold comes with rose gold findings. Your black and silver comes with silver. And the purple one I'm using today, you'll get all of those lovely beads and your gold findings. Okay, so now that I've got a few of those pins, let's just do a few more, and then I can show you how to thread them all on, okay? Let me know. I don't think I've missed anybody asking questions about the loops, but please nudge me if I have. Angela says, are you doing another live this afternoon? Yes, it's not for Totally Beads, it's just on my Facebook page. So it's Sarah Millsop. And I am going to be making resin coasters. So I'm using alcohol inks and resin. So that's going to be at 2 o'clock this afternoon. So you're more than welcome to join me. I'm going to do a few plugs throughout the day so that you don't forget. Okay, so let's do just a couple more. Actually, I'm going to make a couple of small ones as well because I want to show you the graduation. Let's do this one, turning those loops, nice little small movement, and we'll get these pins going. Okay, let's do a couple of smaller ones. I'm going to use my smaller pins so I don't waste anything. And then we're going to thread them on. So I'm also going to show you how to attach culottes onto your tiger tail wire. Earl is saying good morning, everyone. Oh, I had a couple of questions actually. People messaged me and asked what the dog's name was. So his name is Earl. We called him Earl because he's grey. And we couldn't think of anything else that was grey. But we also call him Curly. So his little nickname is Curly Early. He is a cockapoo. So I'd had quite a few. He features on my lives quite a lot, as you can hear, because I can't keep him quiet. His older brother, we've got 2 dogs. We've got Earl and Django. Django is a Belgian Malinois. So Belgian Shepherd. He's a security dog, and Earl has definitely learnt that birds don't live in the gardens. People can't walk past the house. So it's quite funny. If he hears anything, he's learnt from his older brother, and he just lets me know that there's someone there. Okay, so all these little pins I'm now going to start graduating out. So you just want to make lots of little clusters. Lots of different sizes of pins. You can use as many as you like for the finish, okay? I've probably got, I can't remember how many are in these kits. I think it's 100 of each size. It might even be more. You can make them in any. What I'm doing is making smaller clusters for the top, medium ones to graduate out to, longer ones for in the middle, okay? I'm going to make a couple of others. Just remember, you can start and finish with any of your beads. Just try and remember to finish on a seed bead, okay? And that is going to give you that continuity in your design that will give you a lovely finish. Okay, great. I can see that you're all replying to each other. I'm sorry it's so hard to keep up. When I'm chatting away as I am and making, it's so hard to keep up with the comments, but I will have a look at them after the live as well. Okay, so I've got a few here. I think that'll probably do us. Let's move on. You're probably sick of seeing me turning loops now. Okay, it's quite dark up here, isn't it? Let me move you in a bit and get some more light. There we go. Okay, so using our tiger tail wire now. Sorry, I hope I'm not making you dizzy. Tiger tail wire, and your findings are in the kits. So, out you come. So we have crimp beads and we have culottes. Now, culottes are these clamshells, okay? And they have a hole through the centre, as you can see there, a hole through the middle of the hinge, and they have loops on the top. I'm just going to try and do it because it keeps auto-focusing and I don't want it to. Okay. Holes up at the top, this is where we're going to attach our chain and jump rings on. Holes through the middle, this is where we're going to thread on our wire, and we have our crimp beads. So, to attach one on the end, I'm going to thread my tiger tail wire up through the centre hinge. I'm going to add on, let's do 2 crimp beads. The weight of your pins and your beads are going to be quite heavy, so you want this to be super secure, okay? Now, the way Kitty would do it is to crimp these beads and cut the tail off here. Because this necklace is really heavy, I want some extra security. So I'm going to take this tail and I'm going to thread it back down through the hinge of my culotte. So I am turning a loop. What this is going to do is give me extra security and just a little bit of extra tail, okay? So now you can see I have this loop up at the top, which is going to be inside my clamshell, inside my culotte. I'm going to take that crimp bead and crush it with my flat nose pliers, and we'll do 2 just for security. What these are going to act as are little stoppers inside the culotte. So I'm going to bring the culotte up, pull that in as much as I can, And I'm going to close those, sorry, off of camera. I'm going to close those around the crimp beads, okay? And what that's going to do, you can see them inside there, that's going to give me a lovely finish, and I've got a bit of extra security. You can always use your flat nose pliers. One of these is poking out. I probably should have only put one on in there, but I was going to finish it without doubling over my tail. There we go, we can get him in there. Okay, so that is now flat. This is going to be our jump ring and extending onto our chain of our necklace. This is going to be our threadable component. So I'm going to keep that tail on, and then I'm going to start off with a seed bead. Ooh, just one, thank you. I'm going to start off with a seed bead. Let's get some of these out the way. Does anyone else just end up with a bead mess on their mats by the time you've made something? I do like to keep things, I am totally OCD. I do like to keep things quite organised. Okay, so it doesn't matter how organised I try to be, it doesn't work. I'm going to add on my seed bead. Now, what you want to do is thread all of your pins on in the same direction. So this pin is looping around this way, okay? So it's going clockwise, and I can tell that because the base of my pin is here. See that? Make sure it's perfectly closed, and I'm going to make it so that this connecting side of my pin is always at the back. Okay, so I'm going to thread it on so it's always facing the back. Add a pin, add a seed bead. Let's add another small pin. So again, the connecting loop is facing at the back. Let's add another, or I'll keep a smaller one for the other side actually. So that we can kind of get a graduation. Obviously, I don't have many pins here. You need to do hundreds of them, but you don't just want to sit here all morning and watch me do that. So what I'm doing is graduating from my small one to the medium one up to the large. Now that loop isn't closed well enough. Can you see that I've got a gap there? That would come off of my necklace eventually. So when you're opening a pin or a jump ring, exactly the same technique, I'm going to take my flat nose pliers and you lift it. You don't pull it apart because that is going to put stress on the hinge of that and you will break your pin. So if you want to close them, I'm taking my pliers and not only am I pushing it this way, but I'm also twisting it down, okay? So I'm just going to nudge that in. So it's all one movement, but now you'll see there's no gap. So seed bead. Joint towards the back, seed bead, and as I'm adding them on, I'm just checking that my loops are perfectly closed. So what I would do with these is I would sit down and I would do all of my loops. So have a little loopy session in front of the telly, watching a film, whatever it might be, and create those loops. Then when it comes to constructing, you're doing it all at the same time, okay? So now I'm going to move this down towards the tail of my necklace, and I'm going to keep this tail because I want that strength. These are heavy necklaces if you're making them long, and you'll see I'm just using that tail to go through all of my beads. That way, when I bring it up to my culotte, I'm also going to get a perfect finish. Perfectly flush finish to the finding. Again, it's these little finishes that will give you a professional looking piece. And even if you don't want it to be professional, it just gives you that perfect nice finish. Okay, so as you can see, you'll start to get that lovely cluster and you can graduate from smaller down to larger. Okay, so if I show you that on one of the finished pieces in a minute, you will finish the other end in exactly the same way. But this time what you'll do is before you crimp your beads, you will pre-thread your tail through into your work. And only go down a few beads, and then what you can do is hold that tail and pull. And what that will do is give you a perfect finish on the other side. Now, all of this is in your instruction for today. That is on your free PDF. Click in the description of this video. That's going to take you to the exact right place and you will be able to get your pattern. So you can see here, no gap in between my beads, right up to my culotte on both sides, okay? And then we're going to add a jump ring and our chain. Now this chain is perfect. Sorry, I've got hiccups. Hang on one sec. Okay, hopefully they've gone. I can still feel them, but hopefully I'll be okay, sorry. curb chain. It's going to give you a lovely flat finish, okay? But these will also act as extenders, so you can attach your clasp in at any point. So just like I showed you at the beginning of the video, and if you missed it, you can watch it afterwards. If you've got a higher round neck top on, you can have it smaller. If you've got a deeper V-neck on or a lower round, lower cut top, you can go deeper in on that chain, and you can finish them off with a little pin on the bottom as well. So it's really extendable. Adding on your chain. And then I think I've pretty much shown you everything. So your chain is made up of essentially patterned jump rings, okay? So just like you would open a jump ring, I'm actually going to take this larger link out. So I'm going to twist it open just like we did, because I don't want to go from my delicate petite finish that we have here with my shorter pins. Jax is taking the mickey out of my hiccups. I'm terrible for them. So my dad, when I used to get hiccups, you know how people like make you jump or you try and drink upside down? My dad used to take his credit card out of his wallet and put it in my hand and say, if you hiccup again, you can go and put whatever you want on this. And those hiccups never came. It's the power of distraction. Makes you think about something else. And it worked every time. So now when I get them, I always say to my husband, ask me something, tell me something. Give me a challenge. Okay, next time you've got hiccups, try that. So I don't want to go from a delicate finish into one of my larger links of my chain. So I'm going to go from a smaller one. So again, pair of pliers, just like you would open. Helps if I've got the right end. Just like you would open a jump ring or your links, we're going to twist these apart. Now the curb chains are slightly harder to open because they're not a perfect circle. They do have little patterned and softer, flatter finishes in them. But you can still open them up just like a jump ring. You'll thread on your culotte and you'll see, again, design features. When you're buying kits, everything is thought for you. They're all going to fit perfectly. And we're going to close that off. And again, making sure you have that perfect close connection. Now, I know my tails come out, but that's fine. But you can see now how that's going to give you the fluidity in your necklace. Okay, if we had that larger link there, it's just not going to look right. So that is all you need. You're going to attach your clasp in the same way, opening up your chain as a jump ring. Hello, let's have you back up here. I think my hiccups have gone, so all good. No drinking upside down either. Hopefully that's going to give you everything that you needed to know to make the lovely pin necklaces. Now remember, it is a free PDF download. You can have all this education as well as seeing me do it. You can have the written tutorial from Totally Beads for free. Just go to the free section, free project section on the website. You can click in the description on the video and it's going to take you here. You do also have the kits to be able to make the necklaces. Now they're $17.99. Unless they're on offer, that might even be on offer. And you'll make several of your necklaces. You can tell this one's well loved, it's full of my hair. Several necklaces out of your sets. You can make them as large or as small as you want. And like I said, by having the chain, you can actually have that extendable length on there as well. They're really beautiful to wear. It's very soft around your skin because, of course, sometimes pins can be a bit scratchy. So with these, I've put the chain as the extension so that it's nice and comfortable around your neck. And if you have longer hair, you might want to make smaller sections because a lot of the top is covered, and that way you're going to get even more out of your sets. If you've got shorter hair and it's going to be up and out of the way, go as far up as you would like and you'll get that beautiful detail in them. But they're fantastic to wear. They've got a lot of movement to them. And of course, lots of sparkle. Whenever I wear this one, I always get compliments on them. And we've got the black and silver. We've got the rose gold, which again is super soft and delicate. It's beautiful to wear. Look at those colours. You just get a gorgeous finish from them. This is lovely for sort of evening wear and special occasions. Obviously, we haven't got any of those. Have you seen the people are doing formal Fridays? Get dressed up for dinner. My wedding dress is actually at my mum and dad's, but I think if I had it here, I'd probably have dinner in my wedding dress. I'm dying to get all a bit done up to go out, but obviously we can't go out. So I think I might make formal Fridays a thing. Make your necklace and have a formal Friday dinner. And then we've got the beautiful purple as well. So it's the one that I've been using. You've got that AB finish with your purple and your pink and your gold. So rose gold with the rose gold beads, silver with the black and white, and gold with the purple. So you can go for as many of them as you like. Pick your favourite finding colour that you choose. That's the findings, all the metal components in there, and get making. I'm sure Kitty won't mind me saying I'm going to be live on my Facebook page, the Sarah Millsap Facebook page, at 2 o'clock making some resin coasters. It's just to kill a bit of time on a Monday afternoon. If you fancy looking at that, then head on over. And I am going to be here tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning I have netted bracelets. So I'm going to show you how to make netting out of fire polish and seed beads. It's a fantastic pattern and super easy. You would have heard me saying yesterday, it used to scare me, and I would look at these woven seed bead projects and I would think, oh my goodness, I would love to be able to make something like that, but I'm scared. It looks so tricky and intricate. It really isn't. And tomorrow, oh, my mum says she was just looking at my dress yesterday. Oh, lovely. If it was here, Mum, I'd be wearing it to put the washing out, I think. Okay, yes, so I'm going to break down all those fears tomorrow. Hopefully today we have tackled loops and any fears that you have and any problems. Tomorrow I'm going to make sure that you know how easy bead weaving can be. Now on Wednesday I'm going to be on Create and Craft TV for Totally Beads. So we have a Totally Beads hour at 9 o'clock. I've got the semi-precious trees. What else do we have? Tile necklaces. Can't remember what else, but I will show you tomorrow. I'll get it all out and ready. So Kitty will be here at 10, so you can watch me on TV at 9 until 9:45. Grab a coffee, have a quick loo break, and then you will be ready again for 10 o'clock live on the Facebook page. And then on Thursday, so that's going to be the 7th, I'm going to show you those beaded bales. Gave you a little sneak peek yesterday. Hope you can join me for those. Jane says, would love to see Earl. I don't know. Curly, come here. It's not coming. He'll be asleep somewhere. Oh, here you go. He is such a good boy. Come here, darling. Everyone wants to say hello. Chop, chop, chop. Come here. Quick. We've got to go in a minute. Come here. Here you go. This is Earl. Unfortunately, he looks like he's been had a haircut with a spoon. We had to buy some online clippers to be able to do his hair. But this is who you can hear in the background. This is Curly Early. Say good morning, everyone. Okay, normally he interrupts my videos quite a lot, but he's been a good old boy at the moment. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you really enjoyed it. I'm going to take this one out for a walk. Yes, I will. We'll go out now. Sit down, darling. Sit. I'm going to take him out for a walk, and I will see you tomorrow morning for netted bracelets. Take care, everyone. Stay home. Stay safe. Thanks. Bye.